I'm James Kwan.
I'm Dylan McCaffrey.
Welcome to Double Take. First episode of Double Take. I'm pumped to be here. We've got a loaded show today. We're going to talk about a possible movie theater apocalypse. Then we're going to rank some NBA teams. Then we're going to tell you, should you give Uncut Gems a watch? Then finally, we're going to end the debate. LeBron, MJ. Who's got the harder playoff matchups?
We'll get into all of that. But first things first, we're going to talk about this baseball restart. After a 3-month standoff between the league and its players, baseball is finally restarting this month. We'll get into the winners in a second, but first, we're going to talk about the losers.
Now, two pretty big losers in this entire situation are the guys sitting right here in this room, Dylan McCaffrey and James Kwan. Freshly furloughed, rest in peace, minor league baseball 2020.
Sitting unemployed for 4 months, not getting paid, no baseball, it's been super fun.
It's not great, but we are definitely not in a worse position than Rob Manfred. This guy has got to be the biggest loser in sports right now. The way that he's mishandled this situation, he's on par with Roger Goodell to be the worst commissioner in sports, which is a title we didn't think that we're going to even see somebody overtake in our lifetime. So this is a really bad sign with all the testing being fumbled around already. Going forward, how are they going to ensure player safety? I just don't see it with him. And also, the stuff he's been saying about players who are demanding that they get the money that they rightly deserve is ridiculous. Now, I would say the other loser is probably the Dodgers because they had the best roster going into the season. But I don't know, something about, let's say this season doesn't happen or Mookie Betts just doesn't play. It's like him never wearing a Dodgers uniform. How does that not just give you the warm fuzzies inside? Plus, I think they would have kind of choked in the playoffs anyways, like they always do. I think their fans know that. I don't know if maybe they're not the biggest losers, but they had the most to lose going into the season.
Dodgers and Yankee fans have been so upset over this that they have these great teams built and they're going to have to go through this gimmicky season. But honestly, they should have won a while ago. I have 100%. No sympathy. The biggest winner in this case, what I think everyone will agree, is the Astros. And it makes all of the rest of us into losers because we were going to get to watch the Astros revenge tour of all the teams going to hit them going to strike back at these teams. I was ready for so many fistfights. I was ready for so many players to get beamed. The whole league was in unison. Baseball was fun again with all these rivalries. And I feel like...
hate.
It's what's fueled it. And I feel like it's all been lost. I feel like they finally get to play baseball. They're so happy about it. They're going to go out there and sing Kumbaya. No one's going to be beaming anyone. And we're going to miss this Astros getting beamed every night.
No, the people lost. I want to see Jose Altuve's buzzer get hit off by a fastball. We're not going to see that anymore.
No, I think that it's old news.
No, they're just happy to be there.
The other winners in this case are the teams that are low market and weren't expecting to do anything this year. This season is no longer a marathon. It's a sprint. And take, for example, the Rangers. Finished last year 78-84, nowhere near the playoffs. At the 60-game point, they were 32-28. They'd be sitting in a playoff spot. You can be a bad team and go 30-30 to start the season. And I think that a lot of teams that otherwise wouldn't have had a shot are going to make a run this year. Maybe a team from the Northeast. Maybe
a team that gave up a certain outfielder and pitcher. Got some prospects, not really expecting them, but then they still got a couple guys that won something. I don't know.
Don't count the Sox out. And lastly, DHs are the biggest winners here, and all baseball fans. Now that we have a universal DH, we're never going back. Never.
So I feel like another loser had to be Madison Bumgarner, who's never going to see the plate again, even though he was a great hitter. Doesn't matter.
Long gone are the days of Bartolo Colon, Madison Bumgarner home runs, right? But it's okay. Baseball fans have been wondering for years what was going to kill pitchers in the batter's box, and it turned out to be the coronavirus of all things. A lot of people thought that Corona was going to kill baseball entirely. That was an overreaction. A lot of people think that Corona is going to kill the movie theater industry, and there's actually a conversation there. So we're going to put this question through something we call over-under reactions.
Welcome to Over-Under Reactions. The essential idea here, Dylan, is that we're going to find a topic, and we're going to find out are people over or underreacting. To make it a little bit more fun, we're going to pick an over-under. The over at this point is more movies coming out on streaming instead of theaters by the end of the year. Now, the under would be the opposite of that.
Yeah, this situation's been piling up for a while. Back in March, movie theaters across the country shut down as pretty much everything else in society did. AMC Theaters today is almost $5 billion in debt and encroaching on bankruptcy. Countless blockbusters for this summer are coming out either next summer or in the fall, and to top it all off, the digital release of Trolls World Tour set the planet on fire when it made over $100 million in its first few weeks of digital release. This proved a long-standing theory that you can release a movie online and have it get a decent revenue, which puts movie theaters in a tough spot. Universal broke the 90-day theatrical release agreement, which allowed movies to show films for 3 months before studios could put them online. And because of that, AMC has decided they're going to completely ban all Universal films from their theaters. This would include the next Jurassic World installment, the next Fast and Furious, the next James Bond movie, Daniel Craig's last James Bond movie that's supposed to come out this fall. Given all of this, many people believe the movie theater industry is going to die. And this isn't even taking into account when we can actually go back and sit next to someone in the theater, aside from these huge financial losses and this disagreement with Universal. All of this takes us into the question, are movie theaters going to go extinct? James, what do we think?
I'm going to go with the over this one. I'm going to overreact. I don't know, like anything else, follow the money. The truth of the matter is that these big budget, terrible films like Trolls are what brings in the majority of the revenue for these movie theaters. Because that's what it is. It's families coming in groups, piling in for the latest pile of crap. I mean, that's where the majority of these dollars are going to come from. And this market doesn't necessarily care about seeing a movie in a theater. In fact, they're probably prefer not having to get the kids into the car, get them to the theater, make sure they behave. It's not a market that says, oh, like, I need to get Frozen 2 in theaters so I can hear the tones of Elsa's voice. They don't care. So if that's where a lot of your money is coming from, I don't know if movie theaters are going to look the same. Now, are they going to go extinct? No, hell no. Movie theaters, drive-in movie theaters, I mean, they're all here forever. They're going to stay. But are you going to have to drive an hour to go see the next movie you want to see? That's a possibility. You're not going to be able to have 2-3 movie theaters in your hometown anymore at this rate, which I think is a big L for any kind of people that they really prefer seeing a movie at the theater and whatnot. I just don't know if that's the majority of people that are going to watch Trolls or Frozen 3, 4, 5, and 6, or any of these other movies that are big budget, low quality.
Speaking just about the coronavirus, when the bars and restaurants open, people storm to them. When movie theaters open, people are going to go. The diehards are going to go. It's all the people who, when a movie's released, they debate going to see it in theaters because they want to wait for it to come online. If it just comes online right away, there's going to be no debate. They're not going to the movies. And if there's a virus, they're definitely not going to the movies. So there'll always be a market for movie theaters, for movie fans to go see them. I would drive an hour to a movie theater, but I'm not like everyone else in the world. Even if AMC goes bankrupt, Amazon or somebody is going to buy out all the theaters because when there's not a pandemic going on, it's a viable industry. But I'm not going to ignore the oncoming digital age. That's going to happen. They're going to have to renegotiate some agreements. Movie theaters are not going to die. It's not going to happen. No. But are there going to be more movies released on streaming this year? I think maybe.
Yes.
I don't know if you can put confidence into releasing a film into theaters for a 20% audience when you can release it online to the entire world to have at their fingertips.
100%. I don't know. Movie theaters may not be coming back as we know them, but what we do know, the NBA is definitely coming back. And with that, it's time for a list.
Usually, the NBA has a playoff tournament, and the champion goes to Disney World. This year, everyone's going to Disney World, and the champion just gets the longest stay. Jumping right into my list, you can look at these bottom 5 teams, the Spurs down. They're not going to make a splash. They're not going to be a factor.
No, we don't need to talk about them.
They're just there to get the Pelicans into the playoffs.
No, the best way to ruin a pilot episode of any sports anything is to talk about the Nets and the Wizards.
Absolutely. So I want to jump up here all the way to the Trailblazers. They jump over the Pacers for me, who just lost Oladipo. The Blazers got Nurkic and Collins back. They're starting center, starting power forward. They have been a team that's been top 3 in the West the last 2 years, and that kind of fell apart this year just due to all the injuries. They have their team back. They were so bad defensively, and Nurkic is going to cure that. If this team can play the way they've been playing the last few years, you add Melo in there, they can actually run an offense. It's not just the Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum one-on-one show. If they can somehow make a climb and jump over the Grizzlies, there's going to be a really intense Blazers-Lakers first-round matchup. Moving up a little bit, the Mavericks and the Sixers and the Heat were the hardest part of this list for me. I put the Mavericks over them because we got to talk about this neutral site. The Sixers and the Heat are so much better at home than away. The Sixers were 29-2 at home and 10-24 on the road.
It's because of Embiid. This guy just feeds off the energy.
If Embiid can't be either letting the crowd hear him or be taunting the crowd, I don't know where his emotions are at. And if you split the difference between their home and away record, if they go 500, they won't be good. We're going to have to see how it works playing in a neutral site. The Mavericks were better on the road, so they get bumped up for me. The Rockets, Raptors, and Nuggets are my sleeper teams, the Rockets being the best among them. I think that their gimmicky, no-center offense has a decent shot to work in this weird scenario they're playing in.
Disagree.
And we'll get to that. The Lakers through the Celtics, those top four, I feel like that's the top four you see everywhere. I don't think that is a discrepancy.
I think a big discrepancy between our two lists, though, is the Rockets, which you just brought up, who I believe have next to no shot. I mean, let's just call it what it is, man. Russell Westbrook is a playoff liability. He's a habitual first-round bounce since KD left town. The guy shoots 30% from three in the playoffs, which is like the Ben Simmons effect, where, like, if your point guard can't shoot, it's going to cripple, like, a lot of modern half-court offenses. You know? That's the NBA that we live in now. And I just don't see, especially with Chris Paul actually coming up big a lot of the times in Rockets playoff pass, I don't see Westbrook doing anything like that. He doesn't have spots where he can go and get a guaranteed bucket. He doesn't have the elbow jumper. He doesn't have the smarts, the kind of wherewithal to last in these moments. People forget we were one Chris Paul hamstring away from a Rockets finals appearance. So I think that this team has gone worse in a playoff sense.
You look at Westbrook having 25 points a game on 47% shooting, and you say he can't get shots?
Dude, he's had amazing regular seasons. No one is arguing that. But if you get schooled by Joe Ingles, and then Damian Lillard waves you goodbye, I've lost faith in you. Now, the Celtics are a team that I have not lost faith in because they got 4 20-plus points a game scorers that at any point in any game, they could go off. That would be Gordon Hayward, Kemba Walker, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. Now, is Giannis better than any of those guys by a bigger margin than I'd like to admit? Probably. But, especially in a playoff setting where you're looking to neutralize X, Y, and Z all-stars in the other team, we got too many weapons for you to say, oh, we're just going to lock down Giannis. Oh, we're just going to lock down Kawhi and hope that Paul George doesn't have a great game. Like, that strategy doesn't work with us. We got too many guys. Now, are we going to play consistently? Are we going to choke? Are we going to meet expectations? Kyrie isn't on this team, so I'll give us a good shot.
Gordon Hayward broke some hearts recently. It's a good thing the Celtics have other scorers because he said that when it gets to the finals in October, his wife is due to give birth to his first son and 4 kids. And I gotta say, Gordon, I'm disappointed. NBA Finals, firstborn son, that's not a question for me. I'm going after the ring.
So we lose 4 years ago because IT is too short. Then we lose because Kyrie gives up. And now we lost because Gordon can't wear a rubber. That's awesome. Yikes. Now, the Nuggets, though, that's a team that I think has a shot. I don't know if you've seen Nikola Jokic. The guy looks like the Slim Reaper now. And I think that if he doesn't get fat off of Disney food, that this is going to be a playoff threat. I mean, to a team like the Lakers and the Clippers, the whole problem was that Jokic couldn't keep up in this triple overtime, the workload of a playoff series. He couldn't keep up. But now, if he can, they're deeper than they've ever been, which is a problem. Another problem for these top level teams is the Mavs, because the Clippers, I don't think match up very well against them. It's kind of like a weird thing where I think if Rick Carlisle gives Luka complete control, playoff Luka, he has the offense, and Kristaps Porzingis is healthy, I don't know if you want Kawhi and Paul George getting tuckered out, both guarding Eastern European unicorns all game. It just seems like a bad matchup. I don't know. I could be wrong. This could be a 4-game series, but I'm looking at 6 or 7.
Porzingis, other than the Blazers, is the biggest thing I'm watching out for. The last time before this year that Porzingis played in a game, the Clippers had Blake Griffin and the Celtics had Isaiah Thomas. It's been a while. He was hurt for so long. Comes back this year. He's a little bit below what he was when he left. And now he's basically had a whole offseason to get healthy. Coming in fresh on this team that has a chance to shock some people in this Western Conference.
Yeah, dude, I'm totally excited. I mean, I couldn't be more excited for this NBA season just to finish out. We can finally see who's the best of this year's teams. It's great, but we got to be patient. There's still some time between now and then. Between now and then, we got to kill some time, which is easier than ever with all these things that have been added to streaming, including Adam Sandler's Pride and Joy, Uncut Gems. Now, this is a debated movie whether or not it's worth your time, but we're going to put it through what we call Should You Watch.
This segment is as simple as it sounds. We're going to break down if Uncut Gems is worth 2 hours of your life. If you're an Adam Sandler fan, for me, the answer is yes. Whether you liked him in SNL, you liked the Hanukkah song, or you liked him in Jack and Jill and Growing Ups, whoever you are, for whatever reason. Either way, he's been giving you this comedy content for a couple decades, and he finally went out there with something to prove, so showing that he has chops, showing that he can do something different. It's the same animal and a different beast, Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems.
I'm going to say that you like the Hanukkah song and Jack and Jill. Stop listening right now. Just stop watching right now. And it's not that I don't want you watching our podcast, just you're probably going to like this movie anyways.
Yeah, go watch Uncut Gems. No, it's Adam Sandler, you got to support your boy. If you hate Adam Sandler, it's a little more questionable, but I think you should give it a shot. Because if you hate Adam Sandler, you should see what he tries to do in this movie, because he made this movie for people like you. He made this movie for everyone that said that he can't act, and he just goes out there and gets a paycheck and doesn't try. He works his butt off in this movie, and it's serious and intense all the way through. It's not what you're going to be expecting if you're expecting an Adam Sandler movie. Now, getting into a little more, if you're a basketball fan, if you think this is a basketball movie, it's not Who's Got Game. It's not a basketball movie, but as a basketball fan, I enjoyed watching it more because I knew the background elements of this. There's a point in it, no spoilers, where Adam Sandler goes to a pawn shop and he pawns a championship ring. And as an NBA fan, I know how much that ring is worth. I know how much that ring in particular is worth. And it adds to the nervous factor. It adds to the intensity that you know that he's giving up this ring and taking that risk. And it's things like that.
I just want to clarify, this isn't like a KG and Adam Sandler versus the world thing. Like, I was afraid when I saw that it's gonna be like, this summer KG and Adam Sandler form a 2-man NBA team and they win the title. Like, no, it's not like clownish like that. It's very tasteful NBA kind of nuggets in there.
This movie is less of a basketball movie than Ace Ventura is a football movie. So there you go.
Nicely put.
If you're a gambling fan, just short answer, yes. Watch the movie. It's the best gambling movie you'll ever see.
This movie is the Jewish Rounders.
I didn't say it, but yeah.
Now, if you hate Adam Sandler, I don't know if this is going to make you like him because he plays such a terrible person. But I'll get to that later. I don't care who you are. I think you should give this movie a shot. Because it's not about rooting for a hero. It's about the thrill of the ride. It's about being at the edge of your seat, watching a 2.5-hour train wreck happening right before your very eyes. It's terrible, and you see all these bad things happening, but you can't look away, and you need to know how it ends. And I think that is the biggest drawback, is that, you're not going to identify with any of these characters. You're not going to be rooting for any specific goal. In fact, everything happening in the movie, again, no spoilers, is not to the benefit of humanity. It's probably for just the benefit of Adam Sandler, who's in the movie. So, I would say that if you want something you're going to root for, you might not find as much joy in this as others. But you're going to be entertained. That's the point. You're going to be entertained. You're going to go. You're going to like the fact that you watched a movie. Your eyes are glued to the screen. It was worth the $13. I don't think that part is debatable.
If you're a casual movie fan, you're just flicking through Netflix, you might like Sandy Wexler more than you like Uncut Gems.
Don't watch Sandy Wexler.
Don't watch it.
Please don't watch Sandy Wexler.
If you're just a casual movie fan looking for a good watch, this is not like a fun watch movie. These are not characters that you root for. This is an intense drama that will have you gripping your seat all the way through.
No, it's not. I think it is fun, in the sense that you're going to be entertained. It's not fun in the sense you're going to feel kind of dirty after. You're going to feel kind of gross. The fact that at points you might even be rooting for Adam Sandler a little bit. So maybe you will root for someone. If you're a terrible person, and chances are, this is an A24 film, so if you're an A24 fan, you're probably a terrible person, you'll probably root for the guy. But, I don't know, it's on Netflix. I think when it hit Netflix, it became, top 5 movies on Netflix, so why not? Give it a shot.
Yeah, Netflix got Adam Sandler's back. He's got their back. It's been a long time.
They gotta get Jack and Jill on there, right? And then it's the trifecta.
Adam Sandler was going for the Oscar in this movie, and he didn't get even a look, but just the effort is worth a watch.
100%.
We've done a lot of heavy analysis so far, and we have a lot more to come in our last segment, so we're going to take a quick breath, and we're going to play a game called Out of a Hat. Try to follow me while I explain this. James and I wrote some things on paper, we put the paper in this hat, and we're going to pick the paper out of the hat. Simple. This week, we're doing basketball starting 5. So we've each written some categories on the paper, and say I picked one out and it said Pokemon. I'd pick a Pokemon, I'd pick where I wanted to put him in my lineup, and I'd pick 5 players, he'd pick 5 players, and once we're done, we're going to do some light debating and see who picked the better team.
All right, I like the sound of that.
All right, first one on the board, first one on my team. Grab this guy right here. Anybody from any Netflix show. All right, so does this include like this just includes the shows Netflix has made?
Yeah, this is like Netflix originals. Like,
okay. Thinking about the girl from 13 Reasons Why. She just had a lot going on, and I feel like she gets some purpose beyond this team. But I'm gonna go with a hot take, which is Daredevil. Now Daredevil is blind, but he's not really blind because he's a superhero and he can hear things. He's got the super talent, and yeah, I want Daredevil on my squad easily.
So I never watched the show, but don't some of the kids with Stranger Things have superpowers?
Yeah.
No, you already made your pick. No, you already made your pick. No, take Daredevil. Take the blind guy. You take a blind guy with your first pick?
Dude,
a blind guy.
He can see. He can see with his ears and with his heart.
Okay, sure. Okay. Clinically blind guy with the first pick. Bold.
Daredevil dunking from the free throw line.
It's bold.
Easily. All right. Number 2, Daredevil at the 1. He's my distributor.
I don't think a blind person should be a point guard, but that's just my take.
Any animal. Come on. Any animal.
Any animal.
Jeez.
There's tall animals out there. There's strong animals out there.
I want to go with a bird, but I'm actually gonna go with an elephant. Just a full-on elephant.
All right, you're just gonna pack the box with an elephant.
Yeah. Try getting into the paint with an elephant sitting down.
Okay, the elephant is not a sentient elephant. It's just an elephant.
I've seen, I swear to God, there's a YouTube video of an elephant making shots. I've seen an elephant with his trunk throwing a ball through a hoop. I'm taking that elephant.
You're taking that elephant?
I'm taking
All right, I said any animal. It's okay. You got a ringer. You got a good 5. You got a good center.
There we go. I got Daredevil at 1 and an elephant.
Elephant, Hakeem Olajuwon.
Any one of Leonardo DiCaprio's roles.
Jordan Belfort, obviously.
Not Jordan Belfort.
I just want to be Jordan Belfort, bro.
The kid from Titanic, Jack, he was pretty young and spry. But I'm gonna go with Leo DiCaprio in The Revenant. I'm going with.
He's got the most heart.
The revenge tour.
He's gritty.
The gritty. He'll eat the horse's.
He gets
chest.
attacked by a bear, but still goes on.
Yeah, this guy can survive anything. I'll go Leo. Leo at the 4. Leo's my enforcer. The Revenant.
No, that's true. He's going to grind out the 4th quarter.
I gotta make sure the elephant stays clear though. I don't want him cutting him open. And climbing
I think he's gonna be traumatized. So there'll be some chemistry issues there.
Love it, Leo, my man. Any cereal mascot. Oh my gosh. Any cereal mascot.
Tony the Tiger.
I think that I'm gonna have to go like Count Chocula rings a bell. Lucky the Leprechaun has got some luck. But Tony the Tiger. I've seen him hit. I've seen him playing sports in those commercials.
He's an athlete.
He's great.
Apparently, he can play every sport.
What a team morale guy. Just
He's well-rounded.
What was the song they had in those commercials? It was like everywhere we go.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He's gonna rally.
Yeah, he's
team.
got the rally song. He's got everything. No, it's a respectable pick.
Tiger at the 3.
See, I would have gone with Count Chocula, but I mean that's just me.
I mean, Count's up there. He can
fly.
He can ride the bench.
Don't you do my man like that.
Anybody from Jonas Brothers or One Direction?
I gave you 2 options in one, so be happy.
I've got 8 people to choose from. Jonas Brothers are short. The Jonas Brothers are short people.
I mean, I don't think any of them are tall.
No, the One Direction people are also short.
We could also make I think it's worth noting that Zayn is like the music industry's KD. But anyways, go on.
I am gonna go anyone from the Jonas Brothers. I'm gonna go Frankie Jonas, the forgotten Jonas brother, the 4th brother. Frankie Jonas is gonna finally get some fame. He's gonna finally get some clout.
Yeah.
I don't trust any of the other Jonas brothers.
He's got a chip on his shoulder.
Exactly.
He's got something to prove.
When I roll it out there with Daredevil at the 1,
Okay.
Frankie Jonas at the 2, Tony Tiger at the 3, Leo from The Revenant at the 4, and an elephant at the 5. I like this team. I like it a lot.
It's a solid team.
All right.
Hand over the hat.
I don't see how you can beat this 5.
I mean, Leo's pretty tough. I think that's gonna be tough to find someone with the.
Whoever is coming out there, if they get a bucket on him, the whole rest of the game.
All right, but if I have an option to choose a grizzly bear, I'm gonna choose it because that is a matchup nightmare for Leo. That is a matchup nightmare. We've seen that. All right, any king, queen, ruler ever. So this is like dictators or kings or
Yeah.
Or can it be a president? Can it be anyone?
Can be a president. It can be anything.
All right. Okay. Okay. I could go Alexander the Great here if I want to go, the classic.
I mean, one of the greatest. If you want a team leader, one of the greatest leaders of all time.
For sure. No, but I'm not gonna do that. I think that's a cop out. I think we're going Kim Jong Un. And you know why? It's because he's got the basketball knowledge.
He does.
He watches the Globetrotters play. He's probably like half of the Globetrotters' revenue the past 4 years.
Dennis Rodman is
flying them out to go play.
Dennis Rodman has talked him through all those plays.
Dennis Rodman has given all the expertise. I put him maybe at he's got to be the one, right? I think he's probably 5'3", but he's got the basketball knowledge. He's the coach on the court. He's the coach on the court. Burns me to say that as a South Korean, but all right. Now, any Disney Channel character. I feel like an NBA player has had to been on the Disney Channel at least once.
Can you name one though?
No, 100% I can't. I'm gonna go with, this is a sleeper pick. I'm gonna go with Ferb. I'm gonna go Ferb from Phineas and Ferb. I think he's gonna make some kind of contraption that's just gonna put us over the top. Where he's gonna come in with some bionic legs, bionic arms. Ferb doesn't lose. Ferb has never taken an L. I think he's got the confidence. I mean, look, he's dating Doofenshmirtz's daughter. He's a confident guy. All right? That's all I'm saying. I think his inventions are going to be the game changer. I think I got a backcourt. Kim Jong-un, Ferb.
Ferb's the Kawhi. He's quiet.
Yeah, he's quiet. He's a quiet killer. He's not going to be a locker room, problem. He's not going to be who complains he doesn't get a shot.
He's like Klay Thompson. Phineas is going for the glory, but Ferb's taking
of course. And then Kim Jong-un, Steph Kimchi. All right. Any Samuel Jackson role?
Yes.
Any Samuel Jackson role. Now, I'm going to have to go, as you can see, I'm going to have to go with Pulp Fiction. I'm going with Pulp Fiction Samuel Jackson. I think, kind of like Michael Jordan, he's going to keep everyone in line. There'll be no BS on this team. On the practices leading up, he's going to keep people in check. And if not, he's going to have some kind of Bible quote or something to put them in line, point a gun to their head and say, let's play ball.
Pulp Fiction Samuel Jackson was walking with God. He had God in his side when all those bullets missed him, and he was a changed man from there on out.
It's true. He's also just a badass. I mean, come on.
One of his best.
Rolls with John Travolta, though. All right. Any Nickelodeon cartoon character. Now, let's see here. Any Nickelodeon cartoon character.
I know this guy in the pineapple under the sea that would make a great addition.
Yeah, he's great attitude guy. I'm gonna go with Cosmo from Fairly Odd Parents because he can grant wishes. I mean, I can just wish LeBron James onto my team. I don't think that's against the rules or anything. Jorgen von Strangle might have been a pick there, but I just think he's a bad attitude. He's abrasive. I don't think he would get along with my other players. Does he get along with Ferb? Does he get along with Kim Jong-un?
Cosmo gets along with everyone. I forgot about the Fairly Odd Parents. I was thinking Aang or the Fire Lord or the Crimson Chin.
Cosmo can just blip from here to here. The only downside now, he's got to play the point. You put Kim Jong-un in the shooting guard position. A little undersized, but I think we'll deal with it just because Cosmo literally has magic powers. He can fly. So there you go. Last pick. Now I got Cosmo at the 1. I got Kim at the 2. I got Ferb at the 3. And
small lineup so far.
It's a small lineup. Samuel Jackson at the 4, You'd like to have a little bit more height there, but he's a tall guy. Last one. Let's hope I get a 5 here. Any musician ever. Now, just because of how things have gone so far, I'm going to have to force pick here. Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaquille O'Neal. It's got to be Shaquille O'Neal.
He's a musician. Is he a good musician?
Damn,
that's more of the debate. But he's a musician. He's made music. He's in there. I'm taking Shaquille O'Neal. He's my 5. It puts this whole thing together.
I was running away with this until you had that pick.
No, it's great. Cosmo can just wish all of his injuries away. We'll get Prime Shaq in there.
I don't think when it's magic. You have Cosmo's magic.
I got magic on my side. All right.
You got God on your side with Samuel.
I got political power. I got it all.
Daredevil is hearing things. He's smelling things.
He's your worst pick. He's your worst pick. Let's be honest.
He is a very capable blind man.
No, you could have gone with a weird-looking kid who has superpowers, Stranger Things.
I could have gone with 11. That's true. Frankie Jonas has a chip on his shoulder. So does the Revenant. Tony the Tiger is just an all-around athlete and attitude guy. And I have Shaq on an elephant. Can Shaq back down an elephant?
I think I'm actually going to put Cosmo on an elephant. I'm not gonna lie. I think Cosmo goes on the elephant. He just fly, swat the ball out of the trunk. You know, I put in Shaq on anyone else. I think that guy just dominates any normal person that isn't an elephant.
I'm putting the elephant on Shaq.
Okay, I could see that. Cosmo's gonna come with a double. You know. Also, the things that Cosmo can wish. You know, the ceiling is just too high. And with a basketball mind like Kim Jong-un on our team, I don't know. He might become Kim Jong-un's Fairly Odd Parent, and nothing's gonna stop us from there.
I feel like just Cosmo's underratedness, and you got Shaq. It's a
tough team.
I really thought
It's a
I had
tough
it
team.
until you got Shaq.
Yeah,
Shaq puts you over.
So the guy with magical powers wasn't the guy who put you over, but it was just like
I was
Shaquille
confident
O'Neal.
that Daredevil could take care of whatever Cosmo had, but
when you said any musician ever, that's when you have to make the caveat. Like any non-athlete musician.
No, I said that because he's gonna pick John Lennon. I'm gonna tell him he
Yeah,
could
do you
have
think I was
Shaq.
gonna pick Kurt Cobain?
Dame, I guess.
Yeah, could have picked Dame. Wait, maybe I should have picked Dame. I needed size. I got Shaquille O'Neal. I got the 5. I got what I wanted. I think I got a great team.
Yeah, man. My point guard's blind.
Well done. I hope that didn't tucker you out too much because we got a pretty big topic to end our show. In fact, every week, we're going to go into one topic only. Let's go a little bit deeper, dig up the stats a little bit. This week, we're going to finally end a debate that's been going on for the last probably 10 or so years. With LeBron trying to make another finals run in the West, and Michael Jordan with his Last Dance documentary still fresh in our brains, we figured it's finally time to end this age-old debate. Now, we're not going to do it in the way that you think we are. It's too overdone to say who's the better player. We're going to focus on a specific aspect, one that's maybe glossed over by haters and lovers of these two players alike. It is, does LeBron or Michael Jordan have the harder playoff competition?
Just to be emphatically clear, this is not a debate of LeBron versus Jordan. We are strictly comparing the talent of their playoff opponents.
Of course, there are things that factor into the teams that you play. You're going to see much different talent entering the playoffs as a 1 seed versus an 8 seed. And the talent surrounding LeBron and MJ throughout their careers has always played a big factor in where they finished in the regular season.
You'll see in a second why this is so important, but for now, just keep in mind that we've acknowledged this part of the argument.
So we all know how hostile LeBron versus MJ comment section could be, so this is all just going to be some damage control.
Let's get started with the first round. As you can see, we're just taking a look at the top 6 teams each of them played. We'll throw up the full rankings at the end of each round, but towards the bottom of these lists, the teams are a lot more comparable, and we want to be looking more at the heavy hitters here. Round 1 is pretty open and shut. LeBron is famously undefeated in the first round at 13-0. He's never entered the playoffs lower than the 4 seed, so he's never not had a home court in round 1.
Jordan, on the other hand, was a 6 seed or lower in 4 of his first 5 playoff berths, and he paid dearly for it, running into some of the best teams to play the game ever.
Yeah, seriously, we can move right along here. Jordan dropped 63 points, a playoff record on the 86 Celtics, and still lost the game. We can't be out here debating Larry Bird's Celtics to the Oladipo Pacers or the Melo Knicks.
As you can see, it's a different story if you take those top 4 Jordan teams and take them off the table. But if we start splitting hairs now, we'll be here all day.
Things get a little more interesting in round 2.
Jordan was going up against some legendary teams here. We've all seen the Bad Boy Pistons, the Magic Moment 30 for 30s, and even if you haven't, you can just take a look at all the Hall of Famers on these teams just to know that they were a monster to try to beat in 7 games.
LeBron's main competition here comes from the most recent Big 3 era Celtics. This Celtics squad of Rondo, Allen, Pierce, Garnett, and Perkins never lost a playoff series when healthy. That can be seen here and can be reasonably credited as to what drove LeBron out of Cleveland the first time.
We can't sleep on that 06 Pistons team either. They were fresh off back-to-back finals appearances, and 4 out of their 5 members of their starting 5 were all-stars.
The Pistons were nasty, and so was this Brad Daugherty Cleveland team, which ran into Jordan 4 times in 6 years, breaking their hearts every time. Now we know that LeBron's trying so hard to catch Jordan. Towards the bottom of these lists, teams like the Raptors, the Patrick Ewing Knicks, the Charles Barkley Sixers have similar resumes. They were always a threat but could never get over the hump.
The hump here being the 2 greatest competitors in the history of sports.
Rounding out these lists are the Bulls and the Hawks. This Bulls team was the best version of the Derrick Rose, Jimmy Butler lineup. This Hawks starting 5 was also pretty deep. It featured Christian Laettner making his only career All-Star appearance.
This round is way closer than the first, but ultimately, the edge probably goes to LeBron. 4 out of these 6 teams were serious high-end finals contenders. which can really only be said for the 88 Pistons and the 95 Magic.
The bottom half of these lists are a lot more teams with solid starting lineups, but honestly never posed any threat to these GOATs.
Tied at 1 apiece, we head to the conference finals. Comparing the top 2 teams each of them played, the edge goes to Jordan. I mean, the 2011 Bulls were the best team in the regular season, led by MVP Derrick Rose. The 2009 Magic, led by 23-year-old Dwight Howard, made it past the Celtics and LeBron to face Kobe in the finals. As good as those teams were though, they just don't compare to the back-to-back champion Detroit Pistons, who took down Bird's Celtics, Jordan's Bulls, and Magic's Lakers.
The Hawks team LeBron faced had a great starting lineup that won them 60 games before they famously got swept out by LeBron. The Shaq and Penny Magic definitely posed a bigger threat because apparently you do need a star player to succeed.
The 2007 Pistons and the 2012 Celtics were both out of their prime years of finals contention, whereas the 92 Cavs and the 93 Knicks were probably the best versions of those teams of that era.
You can add a healthy Kyrie Irving or Gordon Hayward to the 2018 Celtics, or you can swap them out for the 2015 Pacers. But it wouldn't be enough to give LeBron's opponents the W in this round. It's gotta go to Jordan again.
As you can see, we didn't even talk about the Reggie Miller Pacers, which The Last Dance tried to paint as Jordan's toughest playoff opponent.
Maybe if Isaiah Thomas doesn't grind his hip into a nub versus the Wizards in 2017, LeBron's list gets a little better, but it still wouldn't have been enough.
Now we get into the finals, which I'm sure will be the most contested part of this entire video.
Honestly, the hardest part of this ranking was where to put the 2014 Spurs. They played a perfect brand of basketball under Greg Popovich and stopped LeBron from a three-peat.
The problem is, these Warriors teams were just unfair. They take down LeBron in 2015, and then they go out and have the best regular season in the history of the game. And then they go out and grab Kevin Durant and effectively ruin basketball for the next 2 years.
LeBron had to face all of that after facing 2 Spurs teams that overlapped the primes of future/current Hall of Famers Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and a young Kawhi Leonard.
Jordan didn't exactly have it easy though. If you think about it, the Stockton-Malone Jazz never winning a championship is one of the biggest anomalies in sports. They made the playoffs together in 18 consecutive seasons, neither one having to deal with any kind of career-threatening injury. Malone sits in second in all-time in points, 7th in all-time in rebounds, and 1st in starts. Stockton himself sits at 1st in assists and steals.
They should be argued way more as the best little big duo in NBA history. If you compare their stats to Jordan and Pippen, they have a serious case of being the better pair.
You add into this mix a Lakers team featuring Magic at age 31 making his 9th finals appearance and a prime 29-year-old James Worthy, who's already got 3 rings.
The 96 Supersonics were crazy talented on both ends. They were 2nd in points per game and 2nd in defensive rating.
Rounding out Jordan's list, you've got Charles Barkley and Clyde Drexler, making their first finals appearances.
We would go more into these teams if they faced the 2011 Mavericks or the 2012 Thunder, but they're not. They're up against the Spurs, who are at the apex of a nearly 20-year dynasty. The Suns and the Blazers don't come close.
This argument is competitive, and will likely draw different reactions from different generations. But to us, the answer is clear. There are hardly any teams in NBA history that can compare to what we witnessed from the Golden State Warriors dynasty. Unfortunately for Jordan's opponent's argument here, none of these teams are better than a single one of these Warriors teams.
So the finals goes to LeBron's opponents, which confirms arguments from both LeBron and Jordan's haters and fans.
LeBron had a much easier time getting to the finals. We barely saw him break a sweat before getting to the Warriors in his second stint with the Cavs. He hasn't faced a legitimate threat to his finals runs since the Big Three Celtics.
Jordan, on the other hand, had to go through teams his whole career, who came at him year after year with reloaded and retooled rosters specifically built to beat him. Fortunately for Jordan though, he never had to play a team that was on the level of the recent Golden State Warriors, who were arguably even a little better before they added Kevin Durant.
Going through all this research and data gave us a greater understanding of the LeBron versus Jordan debate. It's not a deciding factor, but it's definitely useful information when people are throwing stats at you like 9 straight finals appearances and 6-0.
And who knows? This narrative may be about to change. LeBron is about to try and make a finals run in the Western Conference for the first time. Before he even gets a chance to prove that he's on the best team in the world, he's going to have to prove that he's on the best team in his own city. If you made it this far, I really hope you enjoyed the series premiere of Double Take. This show is born out of pandemic unemployment, and we've got big dreams for it.
Tell your friends about it. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And if you think that there's a topic that we should talk about, let us know in the comments.
In the immortal words of Kawhi Leonard, enjoy this moment and have fun with it.
Yeah!